Good now, everyone. I hope this broadcast finds you well. My name is Artorius Winchester, Scholar of the Dreaming Glade. And I've just realised I forgot to put the background music on. Hold on, let me, chuck a bit of that on. How are we feeling? Bit loud? Bit loud, potentially. You just knock it down a little bit. Can always knock it down a bit later, because I know the soundtrack does ramp up a bit. But yeah, welcome on in. I hope you're all having a wonderful, whenever it is for you. Saturday evening for myself, as is tradition for these streams. And yeah, I'm excited to show you two more VTuber-related cocktails that I've concocted. I have to admit, rather hastily, despite my lateness on the on this stream. This is technically March's edition, but I had a lot of things come up in March. And I've got a lot of things coming up at the end of April as well, to be fair, so April's edition may also be a tad late. I'm going to try and get back on an even keel with this as soon as I can, essentially. It's just for the moment, we are not in limbo, as say, but, you know, just having some knock-ons that might run things behind. But yeah, important thing for this stream is, anyway, as I said, I've got two drinks that I'm fairly happy with. They are, you know, they could definitely stand to be improved in some ways if they had a bit more, you know, time in the proverbial oven. But I think these are really good bases for some really, like, interesting ideas for drinks, or just some interesting takes on other drinks that are, I guess, you know, more standard and revered as like, oh yes, this is a good drink. And I've done some little different things with them. Added, you know, a bit of certain VTubers, like charm and personality, shall we say. Is that background music still too loud? I can't tell. Let me knock it down just a little bit. There we are. I'll settle for that. But yeah. So, I guess without further ado, I will boot up my handy-dandy set of slides. And we shall roll right into our first VTuber. Who, for those of you who've seen the thumbnail or the silhouettes I've put on YouTube and... well, the thumbnail I put on YouTube, obviously, but the... thumbnail I've also put on Twitch and Blue Sky. You may very well have recognised this VTuber on the left if you've been into VTubing at all in like the past 3 years, I think. Chances are you've seen her about. It is none other than Miss Gargura. It's the Goober. I'm finally making a drink based on her. Let's be honest, this was more of a question of when as opposed to if. I mean, you don't go making VTuber-related cocktails and kind of just miss out Gura. Or VTuber-related anything, I should say, not specifically cocktails. It feels like she's, you know... yeah, I think she still is, like, I think, what, the most subscribed VTuber at the minute, I want to say. Fact check me on that if I'm wrong. But I believe that's the case. I'm also just going to quickly check both of my... chats. We are looking fine there. I know I had a problem on OBS with the chats, so I'm just keeping half an eye on that. If someone could, you know, scream about something and just let me know if they're coming through all right, that would be great. But yeah, until then, let's continue with the kind of drink that I've made for Gargura. So, we have our handy-dandy 4 bars of telling you roughly what this cocktail is going to be like. On the bittersweet side of things, we're going very sweet. You know, when I think about Gura, I think about, like, you know, like a little bundle of fun, as it were. And, I don't know, I think something her energy lends itself really to would be, like, a kind of a very sweet drink. Which I guess is almost kind of an oxymoron to her taste, because the only thing I remember about her tastes in drinks at all is her saying Callie had, like, diabolical taste in energy drinks, like palate of a 6-year-old, I believe was the exact term. But we are actually heading in that direction, so... I don't know, I guess I'm going more off Gura's vibe than Gura's taste preferences here. You know, either would be applicable, but finding her taste preferences would be a lot harder to do, generally. So we're just going to go for, you know, the energy she gives off. And she gives off very sweet energy, shall we say. then, yeah, I was going to say, although not that most VTubers don't, to be fair. Like, I wouldn't say there's a VTuber that gives off particularly, like, bitter energy, but maybe, like, more mature energy would I go for bitter? Or, like, more refined is kind of where I'm leading to. But, you know, Gura's sweet and adorable and can't do maths, so I don't think that fits her. On the next bar, anyway, we've got the kind of strength of the drink, and we're going for, like... Excuse me. We're going for kind of like a medium strength on this, I'd say. This drink, this is based on, traditionally not that strong, but I've added in a little something. You know, you could say there's a little shark in the water. Oh, I think I'm so clever. But yeah. You could say there's a little something in there that just makes it, you know, just makes this drink a little dangerous. With regards to simplicity, we're looking at a very simple drink here. Like, I think the most difficult thing I've got to do is, like, cut some limes. So, yeah, nothing really too strenuous on that front. And finally, our fourth and most useless bar. It's a cold drink. It's almost always going to be a cold drink. I will do a drink for a VTuber that is like a hot toddy or something someday. Today's not that day for either of these drinks. A line which I think I have said many a time on this show. But, you know, it's, well, it's still true. You know, if it ain't broke. So, yeah. Oops, Stokey Bird. I forgot to change the name at the top of this slide. We'll pretend that says Gura. So, this drink is a twist on the classic Blue Lagoon, although it actually leans closer to a Blue Hawaii. Now, for those of you who don't know those cocktails... Oh, sorry, hold on. I have to... do I change the slides? Right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to chuck this up here and very quickly change that slide. Because that's wrong and it's going to bug me. Right. That's not... There we go. So this... Copy over to... As soon as my right click wants to work. Fucking thank you. Into here. There we go. Save that. Replay from this slide. There we go. This up here. Hi, by the way. I chucked this on in the meantime. I guess I could have been doing some hand movements, but I was busy focusing on other things. But yeah, this will come in a minute. Let me finish my presentation first. There we go. Right. So, now serving Gargura. So this drink's a twist on the classic Blue Lagoon, or it actually leans close to a Blue Hawaii. For those of you who don't know what that means, a Blue Lagoon is a very basic kind of drink that contains Blue Curacao, vodka, and lemonade. It's your standard, you know, you get a picture of it at, like, spoons kind of drink. It's nothing too fancy, but, you know, it's a classic that's served everywhere. And while I wanted, obviously, for obvious aquatic-themed reasons, to take reference from the Blue Lagoon, the drink that I've made, in the essence of tasting nice, kind of leans closer to a Blue Hawaii, where we sack the lemonade for pineapple juice and then a couple of other bits and bobs to make it taste nicer, like lime juice, as I've mentioned. The drink traditionally can call for a bit of sweet and sour mix. I've gone a bit of a different route to that. I've gone for something that I think is quite unique and cool, actually. But I guess Stream will be the judge of that. So yeah, something sweet, refreshing, and blue was called to represent the shark's open home. And yeah, I think I've nailed that bill pretty nicely. Definitely one for the fans of sweet drinks out there. So, without further ado, let me now present to you the Shark-Infested Lagoon. Which, honestly, a pretty top quality name if I do say so myself. Right, so let me get this in the text. I should really have these set up. Let me... Go up there, and then... Is Shark-Infested Lagoon going to fit? I get the feeling it's not. Right. Ugh. Okay, how far off am I? Yep, we are quite far off. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is I'm going to reopen that. I'm going to chuck this here. And remove that there. There we go. All right. We're all ready. At least I believe we're all ready. I can't help but feel there's something I've forgotten so far this stream. But, yeah, I'm sure it will reveal itself in the fullness of time. So, anyway, welcome back, everyone, to this, my hand cam setup, which, oh god, my mic is not playing ball today. Apologies if there's a bunch of creaky noises on that. So, let's grab our handy-dandy cocktail shakers, including some tools we're going to need later. So, our Mexican elbow, our strainer, our jigger, and finally separating out our two halves of our shaker there. Right. So, what's the best angle on this? I guess this time it would be there. Okay. Okay. So, the first ingredient on this is staying true to its Blue Lagoon roots. We are going to do 1.5 ounces of... Oi. What's the light? Actually, I just realised our light isn't sent on this at all. Let me, that round of it. Yeah, that'll do. Right, so anyway, 1.5 ounces of, sorry. Vodka. Again, I'm choosing some basic Smirnoff stuff for this. Nothing too, you know, fancy or flavoured or anything. Because there's plenty of flavour in this drink anyway. The vodka is there essentially for the alcohol content in part, and also, again, to pay homage to the Blue Lagoon. So, 1.5 ounces of this. Which I think I'd actually prefer if I did slightly above the shaker. So, let's get this. Ounce of that there. At least, you know, for the bit that didn't go over my thumb. And another 1/2 ounce here. Oh god, I'm doing well tonight on not spilling this. He lied. Also realised I've done that to the wrong one, so let me roll that into here. Ooh, we are starting off strong. Might need about 5 minutes to clean up between these two cocktails, but that should be fine. Okay, so let's put our lid back on this. Chuck this over here. Right, our next ingredient is 3/4 ounce of the delightful blue stuff itself. This is Blue Curcao. Oops, tried to punch my camera. Just gonna hit all the don'ts of doing a hand cam stream. Right. In fact, you know what? If the table's gonna be mucky anyway, let's just do the jigger out of here. So here we are. We're going to want 3/4 ounce of this Blue Curcao. Let's see if we can do that. There you go, about that much, I'd say. Pretty weighty 3/4 ounce to be fair, but 3/4 ounce going in. Now, our next ingredient is actually a returning favourite, which is going to include the previous warning from the last stream as well. This is a shark-infested lagoon. We need a little shark, a little something dangerous in there. And as some of you may have seen, the bottle of Spirytus is making its grand return. Fair warning and disclaimer for anyone using Spirytus. Mix it in small amounts with other things. Do not drink it neat. It is, oops, so I can stop punching things. It is 95% alcohol by volume. Do not drink this neat. I am warning you, you will probably end up in a hospital. And I am not liable for you being a clown. So, anyway. Chuck that here. Right. So just 1/4 ounce of Spirytus. And again, we really don't want much. Like, about that much is probably plenty. I'm going to chuck that in there. And that is our official, you know... Oops. Seconds out. But yeah, that is our official shark in this. So... aside from the Spirytus, this is all pretty standard Blue Lagoon stuff. And there's not much of the Hawaii element yet. Although that's probably because I'll do the juice last. Our next ingredient is a departure from what would normally be in any of these kind of drinks that I've mentioned so far. We're going to do half an ounce of Orgeat. Now, for those of you who don't know what Orgeat is, it's an almond-based syrup. Normally, in things like Blue Hawaiians and that, you either get simple syrup, sweet and sour mix, or cream of coconut, which is coconut milk and sugar in even ratios, I believe. Or it might be 2 to 1, I can't exactly remember. Point is, I wanted to try something different, and this, I think, had a really nice... it gave the drink something really nice and unique. So, we're going to do half an ounce of this lovely Orgeat. There we go. I'll be a bit more careful with it this time. So there we are, half an ounce of that good stuff. Then next up, I am going to return to the... Oops. Well, first off, I'm going to try and put the lid back on this bloody Orgeat. It's being difficult. You know what? That'll do for now. I've just got to be careful to not knock it over, essentially. So we've done that. We now need 1 ounce of lime juice. So let's turn this over to the ounce side there. Can I have you... God, hold on. Gonna mop that up with my hand. Really should keep some towels or something next to this, but hey-oh. Just to stop this sliding around. Right. So, 1 ounce of lime juice. I have some fresh limes here. I'm going to be just chopping them in half and then rolling them. Rolling them a bit, chopping them in half, and then chugging them in my Mexican elbow. I'm going to hope 2 limes here about equals an ounce of lime juice. You'd hope, really. But, I don't know. I've seen stranger things happen. Oi. Right. So, in goes 1 lime here. Just realised I cut that off camera. Probably shouldn't have done, but oh well. What's the best way to attack this? I've got to kind of do some contortionist work here to get this going. I assume that's going in my jigger. I actually can't see from this angle. So I have no idea. Tell you what, I'm going to need to move this a bit closer. Is it still caught on camera? Yeah, and then I can get a better view of what's going in here and what isn't. Okay. Then let's... So, the way I always like to do these in the Mexican elbow is you press it one side, press it the other side. You get a little more out of it that way normally. And then, once you've done that, you want to try and, like, kind of fold it in half like kind of that. And then try not to have it fall over. It could not. That would be great. Yeah. And then press it a 3rd time. Because you tend to express a lot more of the juice that way. Yeah. Oh, we're looking like we've got some amount of lime juice. Well, it's only 1/2, so that's about fine, I'd say. Let me put here. Get lime number 2 ready to go. Move this back up. See what I'm doing. And then fire number 2. There we go. So, juice that into there. Then, oopsie, let's not have that hit that, shall we? Okay. Once the other side, and then as a final, let's go. Try and Oops, move that around there. It can be a little hard to fold these sometimes. Well, let's be fair, I'm also probably making a real pig's ear of it because I'm got gloves on. And that does not make anything easier, but it's a tradition I started. And boy howdy, am I too stubborn to let go of it now. Right, there we are. It's about as much lime juice as we're getting out of that. So yeah, we've got about half an ounce out of that lime, which is fine. Because we have another lime ready in the wings to give us that other half an ounce. I'm going to say this one. So yeah, I'm just going to cut it in half. Again, just off screen here because it's a bit easier for me. Go. Oh, might make that one. So, another half of a lime going in here. Give it the old press. Oh, that one's stubborn. Okay. There we go. Then flip it over. Squeeze it the other way. There we go. And, oh boy. There we go. Third one. Firing away. Just gets a bit more juice expressed from it, which is lovely, because it saves me buying yet another pack of limes. I swear, when I'm making these drinks, I get through limes so goddamn quickly. Just like, hey, you want like 3 cocktails? Sure, I'm gonna need like 5 packs of fucking limes. I mean, not literally that many, but like, it definitely feels like I'm asking for a lot of limes. Okay, there we go. Almost done with the second lime, and then I'm gonna call that and what's in the shaker that's missed it, because I'm pretty sure one of these squeezes has evaded the jigger, as it were. Now, if you can just sit like that, thank you. Go. Okay. Right, there we go. I'm going to call that... Well, let's have a look, shall we? So that there to me looks kind of like a weighty 3/4 of an ounce. Again, would have liked a full ounce, but we'll see what we can roll in from places beyond. Make sure not to spill any of this. And then in the bottom of here, yeah, we have got a bit. That probably makes an ounce. So we're going to go with that. Which leaves us with our final ingredient. The thing that makes this kind of closer to a Blue Hawaii than a Blue Lagoon. We are going to want 2 ounces of pineapple juice, which I have got here. Here you go. So, 2 ounces of this good stuff, and let's, for the love of God, try and not spill it anywhere. Because that would be kind of bad. There's one. Go. And there is 2. Ooh. Yeah, make sure that's a very sufficient 2. Right. So with all that done... Ooh, no, actually, I tell a lie. There's one more ingredient. Almost forgot about this, but it is something I added in kind of last minute, based on how the drink was feeling. And I think this works really well. It's a bit of an unusual one, but we're going to want 2 drops of this vanilla extract. Now... Not something you typically see in any of the, like, you know, Blue Hawaiian, Blue Lagoon, all that kind of stuff drinks. Got to be very careful with this. Like I say, we want 2 drops. So really not much. Like, that's probably fine. Let's just get that cap over here. And we want... Shake it. Well, that's 1 drop. And... Sorry if there's not the best optics on this, because the lighting is not designed for this. There we are, there's a second drop. So yeah, just 2 little drops. It's going to do some really nice things to the flavor profile, particularly in combination with the orgeat and the pineapple. and the Blue Curcao, to be fair. It comes together for this really harmonious... Well, I'll try this, and then I'll let you know. But you'll have to give me just 1 second. I need to run and go and get some ice. Back in just a second. Do you know, stream, it helps if you unmute the mic before you try talking again. That is, you know, 1-800 stream tips here. Don't have your mic muted when you are trying to talk to people. Is that a beehive ice tray? It's a hexagonal ice tray, actually, with a little cover on it. So, like, I mean, yeah. I guess you could say it's beehive, but just generally hexagonal. It's also all silicon, so what I can do is I can pop out, you know, however many of these I want, little, like, hexes, and just drop them straight in my drinks. Gonna go for a good, I don't know, like 5 of these here. I'm never really sure when I'm doing these. Like, I have a method for how much ice I like in my drinks. It seems to wildly differ... Ooh, sorry, don't mean to shake the camera here. It seems to wildly differ from what the, you know, cocktail world at large does with ice in their drinks. But that's because they all have, like, super clear, you know, super large ice cubes that are, like, this big. And it's like, I got some hexes because that's what I could fit in my freezer. Like, fucking deal with it. Right, there we go. So one more of them. And I'm just going to put these aside in a slightly cooler room so that they aren't all melted by the time I get back to them. Just 1 second again. Alright. And there we are. So all the ingredients for our shark-infested lagoon are now assembled. Which means it's shaken time. So, let's get that going as soon as I stop kneeing my wires. Here we go. Whee. Giving this a really good go. To be fair, I think I've got a lot better at actually shaking this on camera. It's a lot less scary than it used to be. Although I still do look a bit insane for anyone who could see me behind it, but luckily none of you can. That's the advantage of VTubing or PNG tubing. I can just look fucking mental while I'm shuffling around on my chair, trying to, like, not punch my camera, which is between my two hands, every time I shake. And none of you are any the wiser. Right, although shaking it that way is, whoopsie,
just punch my camera while I'm not there instead, and that'll do it. Yeah, good job, Artie. But yeah, do a bit of behind the mic shaking now. Hopefully that comes through. To be fair, probably doesn't come through as much as it could, because, yeah, there's, not that much, actually that much solid ice left. It's the good thing about using smaller ice cubes is that it dissolves pretty quickly. Alright. I'm going to call that shaken. It doesn't need to be shaken forever, this one. So, let me get our glass. Pop this bad boy open. Eventually. There we go. And go. Put this on here. So what I've just done there, actually, sorry, is I'll show you on camera, is I've taken our strainer, I've just let it rest on the top here. This means the spring will hopefully help filter out any of the, you know, bits of solid lime that are still in there. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I present a shark-infested lagoon. Which I'm going to tilt the camera a bit to try and get a bit better angle on. There we go. Let me grab a photo of that. I need to clear up the back of here, actually. Let me move some of these other ingredients round so that this looks a bit neater. Although maybe not the blue. The blue's very eye-catching, actually. Some of our more, how would you put it? Less present things there. There we go. It's not quite central, but we'll take it. There we go. Right, well, let's give this thing a try, shall we? Yeah. Yeah, that's magical. And you know what? I think the vanilla really ties that together. I'd say that is a lot like what it reminds me of, and this is going to be entirely the pineapple juice and the orgeat and the vanilla, is if you've ever had like a pineapple upside down cake. This reminds me of that. Like, it's very sweet, but unlike the cake, I guess it doesn't feel as heavy to drink. Like, this is still, you know, you take a breath out after you've, you know, taken a sip of this, and you're like, ah, that was refreshing. Because at the end of the day, it's still fruit juice and alcohol. But yeah, it's not quite as blue as I would have liked still. To be fair, I had an original recipe which had the amounts of orgeat and blue curacao swapped around. Definitely made it a lot heavier on the orgeat. I think I was right to swap the ingredients, the ratios of those two. But I was hoping it would be a little more blue. This is still kind of quite green, although I guess if you're mixing blue curacao and pineapple juice, this is just kind of what you get. But yeah, not a bad little drink, this. Yeah. There's definitely, I think, maybe because I took the orgeat back a bit, compared to how it was, it's a little more spirit forward. It's like you can taste it, and it's definitely like, you know, you can kind of, whereas before, like, it was just like you were, what's a really silly analogy for this? I'd say before when I had like 3/4 of an ounce of orgeat, something entirely different, not something you want to put in a drink. Whereas before, when I had that, you had, like, it was a very sweet, very cakey drink, and then just in the background, you could kind of, like, barely hear just, like, the da-da-da-da of, like, a shark sneaking up on you. This kind of jumps straight to the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da kind of stage. If that makes any kind of sense, I appreciate I'm trying to... I've got to the stage in this series where I'm describing the flavour profiles of drinks by using different speeds of the Jaws theme, which is a choice, technically. But, like, hear me out, it makes complete sense. To me, at least. I'm going to move this camera around, actually, a bit, because I've noticed we're slightly off-center. There we go. Try and, is that twisting itself around? Is that why I'm struggling? There we go. Right. But yeah. No, honestly, a thoroughly enjoyable drink. A good tribute to, Gargura, I believe. Definitely, you know, kind of like a blue, like a slightly more cakey and sweet, like Blue Lagoon or like Blue Hawaii type drink. And yeah, that'll be drink number 1 for this evening. Now, I've got to go and do a little bit of cleanup because that one, admittedly, my pours at the start there were kind of bad. And I got a lot of alcohol everywhere. And there's a couple of just little things I'm going to need to, like, you know, rinse out, grab. In fact, there's one ingredient that's still downstairs that I've realized now that I haven't grabbed. So, I will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Until then, sit tight. Our next VTuber cocktail is coming right at you. Alright, apologies for the delay there, stream. I encountered some technical difficulties, you could say. But we are back. Oh, and I see Solo Poker stopped by in the chat. Well, hello to you if you're still here, Solo Poker. Very nice of you to drop by. Just unfortunately dropped by in the middle of the break. But yeah, so we'll be moving on now with our next cocktail. So I'll be a bit more impressed if anyone managed to get this one. I think some long-time friends of the channel probably will. The wider, you know, VTuber sphere, perhaps not. But this also brings me on to a little format change that I want to do to this series going forward. Oops, hold on. Let me knock that off so we can actually see the presentation. There we go. So, our next VTuber is none other than... It's Froster. And in case you don't know who Froster is, he's an Astral Dragon VTuber who has partaken in a number of collabs with me, actually. He was one of the two that, on my very first ever collab, playing Wander Home. And he's also been present at both of the Blood in the Clock Tower collabs that I've done throughout my time VTubing. So, really, you know, just wanted to make a drink for the man, you know, pay my respects, as it were. But yeah, in case you haven't checked him out, I will be tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be going through all of the cocktail streams and actually writing up the recipes for them. I'll also in that put Froster's links in there. If you want to find them right away, you can check my Blood in the Clock Tower streams, because they'll be in there alongside the other collab participants, or even the Wander Home stream, which will be in the video section of my channel on YouTube. I forget that I'm also talking to a Twitch audience here, so yeah. Definitely go to my YouTube, just Artorius Winchester. You'll see my ugly mug there, you'll know it's me. Yeah, have a look through for those. And then, as I said, I'll put these in the description of the YouTube video, or the VOD of this stream, I should say, tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, let me... well, I'll switch the text in a minute, actually. But for now, let's just proceed on with our 4 handy-dandy bars. So, for Froster, we are looking at kind of a middle-of-the-road drink. It's got a slight sweetness to it. Because of, I guess, some of the more, like, herbal or berry-related ingredients I'm using in this. But really, sweet isn't what I'd call this as much as it is, like, subtly tart. I think that's the kind of vibe I'm going for here. Then, as far as strength goes, we're again going kind of middle of the road. I don't think... I forgot that one ingredient, damn it. I went down to get that ingredient. I totally forgot, like an idiot. Oh, well. Yeah, we've got kind of like a middle-of-the-road strength drink here. With regards to simplicity, this is actually kind of... It's more leaning on the complex side. There's... In fact, yeah, black bar should probably be on the... like, just mirror it in the dotted line. That's probably where it should be. It's a little complex, this one, just because we're involving egg whites, and you have to, you know, mix them in a certain order, and also for a fair bit longer if you want that nice, kind of, like, head on them. So, yeah, slight misplacement for me on the old PowerPoint, but I'm not going to go back and correct it now. And it is, of course, a cold drink. As I mentioned earlier, if you're looking for hot drinks, I'll get there one day. It's just not today. Oh, yeah, Twitch muted, I'm dumb. No worries, I mean, no worries, Solo Poker. I had my mic muted while I was trying to tell people about something for like 10 minutes earlier, and I was like, oh, wait, I'm stupid. But yeah, so, Froster is an Astral Dragon VTuber, as I said, that runs a rescue organization for mythical creatures, which is a neat tidbit of lore. I was wondering why the background music was still playing. Oh, yeah, in which case, the background music was still playing. That's not on your end. That would have been mine. Unless you can, like, mute specifically the voice track, or not. No, you can't. That wouldn't work. But, yeah. So, anyway, Oh, I have background music. Right, sorry. Suddenly this makes way more sense. I thought you were talking about the, like, Valhalla soundtrack I've got going in the background. And I was like, how did you mute... plays when nothing else is making sounds. Oh, okay. Fair. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Froster. So, he's an Astral Dragon VTuber that runs a rescue organization for mythical creatures. And I wanted to make something based on that felt very cozy, you know? Felt like, you know... Felt like something giving you a big, like, fluffy hug, I guess, would be how I envisioned this drink. So, I felt like riffing on a gin fizz was maybe the best idea for this. So, without further ado, let me present to you the Soft Sanctuary, which is an elegant little drink that I'm going to be concocting together now, just as soon as I change over my text. There we are. So this is... Froster. I'm not sure if this changes in real time or only when I hit enter, so I'm gonna hope it changes in real time. Elegant drink, what flavor? Well, I'll get into the ingredients and we'll you can see there. But we're going for something very light, very like a bit herbally, a bit berry-ish. It's an interesting one, honestly. Right, I'm going to hope that fits. It sure does. All right, let me whack things back over to the old camera. Hello. We're back for round 2. So. Oh, boy, I've wedged all of my apparatus in these, and I am regretting it. No, there we are. We're fine. Let's get our tools of the trade out again. So. To make a soft sanctuary... We're going to be starting off with 1 ounce of dry gin. Let me just double check that, yeah. I am using some Finton's Special London Dry because I'm almost at the end of the bottle and I need to use it up, honestly. But, yeah, just any dry gin will do. So let me shuffle things about here. We want 1 ounce of this. Ooh, and there we go. And we want to tip that in our shaker. That's not the only gin we're using, however, and this is what I alluded to with that berry kind of taste earlier. We are also going to be adding in 1 ounce of a different kind of gin, specifically. Oh, we want 1 ounce of Sloe Gin. Now, for those of you who don't know what Sloe Gin is, it's gin made of sloe berries. So it's very, like, it's a very tart, very, you know, I guess berry-esque flavor. It's also a really beautiful color. It's got to be said. I do like how this thing looks. Yeah. So we're going to be doing 1 ounce of Sloe Gin. Ooh, I'm learning alcohol flavors. Hell yeah, that's what we like to do. We like to inform. Okay, right. Let's do 1 ounce of Sloe Gin. Yeah, that'll do. I'll chuck that in our shaker. I only ever had 3 flavors of alcohol. I mean, that's entirely fair, to be fair. Unless people get, like, super into, you know, like, mixology or buying expensive cocktails. People tend to just think, like, you know, oh, well, I know, like, what beer and wine and, like, maybe a cider tastes like. Or some, you know, some variation of those 3. Maybe you know what a vodka shot is as well. But to get actual nice flavors to kind of harmonize in that. Oh, yeah, wine, that makes 4. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Right. Next up, we're going to be getting a little funky with our ingredients. Now, obviously, you know, Sloe Gin is a bit of a deviation from a normal gin fizz. What is also a deviation is not using just simple syrup. No, I've gone for something a lot more herbal. And a lot more, I think, befitting, fitting the VTuber in question for this kind of like, you know, soft, almost like aromatherapy kind of vibe I'm going for, I guess. But yeah, we're going to use 1/4 ounce of rose syrup. So let me unscrew this. Which, hold on. We go. Now, the important thing when using rose syrup is to remember that this stuff is strong. Like, I've opened the cap, and, like, my head is quite far behind the camera here. I can smell that from here. So, you do not want to overdo your rose syrup. So we just want 1/4 of an ounce of this. Which is about yay much, I'd say. And we just want that in. We just want a little floral note, not for it to, like, taste like you're trying to chug perfume. Next up, we're going to want to put our jigger back in the small shaker because we've got some more juicing to do. Because we want 1/4 of an ounce of lemon juice and 1/4 of an ounce of lime juice. Now, I'm going to start with the lime because it's out, essentially. So, let's put that in there. Again, putting this in here just so that if I juice in here, like, the residual juice that doesn't go in the jigger is caught. So, we've got 1 lime here. I've noticed my camera seems to be jumping about a bit. I hope that's coming through smoothly. Just a drop of perfume, exactly, Solo Poker. Just a hint. Just a little, ooh, that's mysterious, not, ooh, that's poisonous. Okay. There we are. So I've just cut that in half, again, off screen, because that's where my chopping board is, as it were. And we're going to use our Mexican elbow to crush this into here. And again, using our signature technique for limes and lemons, where you press it one way, turn it over, press it the other, express just a little bit more juice. And then once you've done both of those, you're going to try and fold it in half, like so. Get it to sit like that, if you can. It's a bit difficult, but if you can, like so, there we go, that's perfect. Juice that, you get a bit more juice out of your lime. So, there's 1/2, and the other half's going to go in now. And even one of those would make it so much easier to squeeze the limes from my syrup. Oh, absolutely, yeah, I can hide, like, to be fair, a Mexican elbow like this isn't necessarily my, most preferred method of juicing stuff. I know there was, like, a plastic one that I saw, I think off my Dutch relatives, where you can kind of just put it in this thing, put the cap on top, and twist it a bit. And that worked a treat, honestly. Meant you had to do a lot less flipping stuff over and folding it, like I'm doing here. Which is something I've learned to kind of do ever since I've had a Mexican elbow. But, honestly, yeah, Mexican elbow, definitely better than nothing. Right, so I'm going to call that a slightly weighty 1/4 of an ounce of lime juice. So, what are we looking at here? Yeah, about fills half of the 1/2 ounce, so can't complain. Go. We had one of those, but it broke. Ah, rough, yeah. Okay, let me... Hey. Free a lemon from this weird, like, netting prison they come in. Oh, dust that off a bit, but 1 lemon coming on screen. There we go. So once again, I'm probably only going to need half the lemon for this, because lemons just inherently give out more juice than limes. So let me cut this in half. And then... Right, now we only want... Oh, whoopsie. There we go. Let me try this again. Now we use our hands much harder. Yeah, hand juicing, honestly, props to you for doing that. That is difficult. It's kind of at a nice angle before, actually. I don't know why I moved it, but... Okay. So we just want 1/4 of an ounce here. Which it looks like we might already have. In fact, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say we already have that. Maybe a little more. But not much more than that, I'd say. Yeah, for sure. I think that's good enough. Retire our Mexican elbow for the day over there. That is the last
bits of lemon and lime juicing we're going to have to do. Pour that in there. Okay. Right. So next up, this is a gin fizz, which means it includes count 'em, one egg white. So we're going to chuck an egg white into this drink. You can do this. I'm not sure how it works in other countries. Contan juicing is the seeds that get all of my cups. Oh yeah, I guess that must be a thing too. Like all the like actual pith and that as well. But or like whatever you call like the actual flesh of the lemon and lime fruits. I believe it's called pith, but I could be wrong there. But yeah. So anyway, adding eggs to drinks. I did some research on this because, like I imagine some of you out there, I was in the predicament where I was like, oh, shouldn't we be cooking these first? I've never heard about adding raw egg to things. That seems strange. Actually fine. If you notice there's this red lion symbol. I'll try and bring it up to the camera. You notice there's this red lion symbol on the egg? In the UK, that means that they have been checked. They're not going to give you salmonella or anything. Like, you can eat them raw. It's fine. You probably shouldn't just down a raw egg. But if you mix it with alcohol and stuff, it does some magical things to do with the chemistry of the drink. Now, I've learned my lesson from this, so if you don't mind, I'm going to break immersion for just a second here. I'm going to remove my gloves to crack this in. Because, quite frankly, I don't want to mess around with getting this egg everywhere again. We had one kind of, not disaster, but one incident with that before. So let's, again, very carefully crack that open. And we just want the egg white in there. There we are. Get that in there. And then I'm going to roll it between these eggshells to kind of get the residual egg white out of there. There we go. Oh, that's a bit of yolk, but that's fine. That's a bonus. Okay. Right. There we go. Now, I'm going to very quickly run and get my last ingredient that I forgot and also dispose of this before I accidentally knock it over somewhere. So I'll be back in just 1 second again. Alright, apologies for the delay, I am back. So, our final ingredient in this gin fizz, I should probably put my gloves back on, whatever. You know what, I'll put my gloves back on for the photo, but for the actual making of this, you guys get to see a gloves off cocktail. I've decided, because it's just a bit easier for me. So our final ingredient is 1 ounce of heavy cream, or double cream, depending on where you live. Maybe I'll try and move my thumb up. You can see it says double there. So, I'm going to do 1 ounce of this. Which is 1 full ounce. Let's try and move that in. There we go. Which is again going to help with the the smoothness of this drink. Oh. Like that. So we're going to throw that in there too.
Is double thicker or is heavy thicker? I believe they're, like, roughly the same thing. It's just that double is, like, the UK version of heavy or something. I could be wrong. If I am, I'm using double, and it seems to work for me. Yeah, there we go. Right, I'm going to call that done. Over here. So, this is a drink with an egg. And for those of you who don't know, when you're incorporating raw egg into drinks, you have to do things in a very specific order. So first off, we do not add ice to this. Like, the first step of any kind of egg-related drink is you do not add ice to this to start off. We're going to shake it. I'm not going to do the sideways shake because the thing about shaking drinks with ice is that that makes the cups seal together, so I can shake them sideways and it's not going to fly apart. Without the ice in, there is none of that kind of suction. Like, these are just kind of free balling at the minute. They're being held together only by my hands. And I don't want this to essentially, like, smash apart and paint my room in egg and sloe gin and all that other stuff I've just put in there. So we're going to very carefully give it a bit of a shake. And like I say, I'll do some on camera. But I think for the dry shake, at least, I'm going to do the majority of it behind the camera here. Yeah, no spilling. Egg spills are the worst. Absolutely. Yeah. Got to be very careful. And obviously where I'm filming this as well, carpeted floor, like, that's absolutely disastrous if this goes everywhere. Don't think we're getting much through on the sounds front for this at the minute, but, like, you do want to give an egg drink a shake for a good few minutes. In fact, the longer you shake these things generally, in total, the more of a head you get on the drink. Now, I'm not going to shake this for as long as you would something like a Ramos Gin Fizz. Because... Ooh. Oh, a bit of a spill there, but we're fine. Gotta make sure I'm careful. Yeah, I'm not going to shake this for as long as you would something like a Ramos, because that is, well, it's a lot of work, essentially, is what I'm going for. But yeah, so I've shaken it a bit, so we should see now, if we look at the way the drink's forming, it's starting to, like, it's kind of emulsified a bit, it's come together. So, I'm going to go and grab the ice, which is just in the other room. Right, there we go. So, got our handy dandy ice cubes back here. We're going to put a good few of them in here, particularly since the downside of me keeping these in here is that the ice does melt a bit. Well, I'm not keeping it in my freezer, which is all the way downstairs, but I don't want to keep having to get up and down because it breaks the stream up a lot. So yeah, let's just put a good load of ice in here. Go. Something along those lines I feel is appropriate. We'll move this to the side for the moment. Now we've got all that icy goodness in there. When we chuck this back on, go, and give it a shake. I can already tell that that's way colder. So you can probably even notice it. These, like where the line is, where the kind of glass is starting, or not the glass, the shaker's starting to mist up. That's where the seal is. So I can shake this like this now, with no fear, because I trust in physics. Now the thing about, other thing about gin fizzes, is that you do have to shake them like Billy-O. Again, the longer you shake it, the more of a head you get. I'm going to try and shake it for, like, a decent while. Nothing too strenuous, like maybe another, like, 5 minutes or so. But, yeah, you've got to really try and kind of get the egg to play ball the rest of your drink. Gonna do a bit of behind the mic shaking now while we've still got ice in, because I did that a bit too late last time, so let's hopefully this comes through. Oops, and I don't punch my camera. That would be cool as well. There we go. Right. Behind the mic shaking. Yeah, you can tell the ice is disappearing out of that. Ooh. And it's a hell of a good workout as well. If you ever want to make drinks and burn calories off, gin fizz. Just shake that for a good, however long you're meant to for a Ramos. I think it's like, for a Ramos, you're meant to do like 30 minutes shaking in total. And then it's like, yeah, then it might be like kind of part the way there. But, like I say, I don't think, 30 minutes of behind the mic shaking is going to be the best stream content, so I'm doing it for 5. I'm saying, here's the head I got on it. If you want to have a bigger head, you can go for longer. I'm just doing enough so I can get a decent photo out of it. Sounds like most of the ice has melted into this, which is cool. Just need it to really get combined. I'm going to do a bit of in front of the camera shaking as well. So here we go. Boy. You can tell I am not the fittest person, maybe. We're almost getting there, though. 2 more minutes, I'd say. Ooh. It is much harder to do it in front of the camera. But we will persevere. For the content. Okay. Now for the last minute or so, we'll do behind the camera again. I will try and not wrap my legs in all this wiring. For the content. Yeah, you get it, Slow. Solo poker. Ooh. Ooh. Almost there. I'm not really getting any sounds out of it behind the mic now, which is a shame because all the ice is gone, but I assure you it's sounding like it's combining nicely. It's just not peaking enough for the mic, apparently. So my noise gate's filtering it out. Almost there. Whoa. Come on. Right, okay. I'm calling that ready. So, let's get our glass. Whee! Don't say I don't put in the effort for these streams. So, now that should all have been satisfactorily... whatever the word I'm going for there is. Combined, we're going to actually strain this one into a glass. There we go. I imagine it looking like milk. You're not far off, yeah. And then you can kind of see with the amount of shaking I did, I have a head that it's growing a bit, to be fair, but it's like that much. If you shake it for long enough, you can have the whole thing be head, essentially. But yeah, we're going to top this with some seltzer. or sparkling water. Again, things which I think are the same, but just different, you know, have different words in, how'd you call it? English and American. But, gonna top that up there. About there, I'd say. There we go. And the head on that's actually forming very nicely now. So let me move that out the way. Let me put my gloves back on. It looks like Nescafe. Oh, like the milkshake stuff. Yeah, I can kind of see that. Right. And once I've done that, on gloves, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oops. I've just kicked my table. Yeah, let me introduce to you. Let me move that can out the way as well. The Soft Sanctuary. Get a photo of that for Twitter later. All right. Let's give it a sip, shall we? Let's see what this drink's like. Well, I got mostly the head on that drink there. But yeah, it's such a smooth drink. Like, yeah, My only complaint for me might be that I did slightly maybe overtop it with the sparkling. But egg drinks are something that really have to be experienced to be believed, I feel. Like, they have a certain velvetiness on the tongue that is, you don't find anywhere else. Like, the kind of emulsification that goes on between the egg and the cream and the alcohol makes, like, you know, it's the closest sensation I can describe to it. I need me a cocktail one day to broaden my horizons from rum and Pepsi. I mean, rum and Pepsi is a noble starting point. Everyone knows what you mean. Like, you know, I can't exactly walk up to, you know, my local group of friends and be like, oh, you know, I'll have a dead man's mule. Because they'll look at me like, what? Which is a shame, because a dead man's mule is a fantastic drink. But I digress. Going back to our Soft Sanctuary here. Yeah. So, like I say, you do get some very slight herbal notes from the like the rose liqueur and the Sloe Gin. If anything, I would maybe make a tweak to this recipe to maybe even ditch the normal gin altogether and just have it be Sloe Gin. Because I feel like the sloe berries are kind of getting like, they're present, but they could be stars of this drink. And I feel like I've done them a bit of a disservice by cutting that with normal gin. It's something I kind of thought was maybe a good idea after my first couple of lab sessions with it. But like I say, I'll append this as notes to the YouTube video as well. So I'm like, oh, if you want to make this, then, you know, I would recommend doing it this way. Because these are as much about experimentation, really, as they are, you know, I try and come to you with these streams with, you know, an almost finished product, but there are definitely routes for you to take it off in different ways to suit your, you know, flavor preferences. And my flavor preference for this one would be a bit less sparkling water and do the Sloe Gin, just like 2 ounces of Sloe Gin instead of 1 ounce of London Dry and 1 ounce of Sloe Gin. Still, though, a pretty magnificent drink, if I do say so myself. And yeah, I believe then, that is probably where I will end off for tonight. So, thank you all very much for watching. Thank you specifically Solo Poker there for being there throughout the entire stream in chat. It's very much appreciated. Yeah, I will see you all next time, which will be tomorrow at 2 PM British Summer Time, for a game from the 90s that no one except me remembers. But you know what? I'm bringing it back. It's going to be cool again. It will not be cool again, but I fucking love this game. What can I say? So yeah, if that sounds like it floats your boat, feel free to stick around tomorrow. If not, I'll see you whenever I next see you. Until then, farewell. Is it the football game or Nokia? I will let you know it's not that. It is something to do with planes. But yeah, anyway, farewell.